All right, so today we're jumping into a chapter of the Quran that's less about laying down laws and more about making one single, powerful argument. We're going to dive deep into Surah Al-Anam, which translates to the cattle, and see exactly how it makes the case for one God, in a world that literally worshipped hundreds.
So, let's just start with the main question this chapter is trying to answer. I mean, think about it. If you're living in a world that is just packed with different gods and idols, how do you even start a conversation about there being only one single unseen creator? That's the challenge right at the heart of this chapter.
To really get this, we've got to go back in time. Picture this: Mecca, 7th century. This place was a major hub for trade, for culture, and it was deeply, deeply polytheistic. We're talking hundreds of idols being worshipped. So this new message wasn't revealed in some quiet corner. It was declared right in the middle of this bustling, idol-filled city.
And that brings us to our first really big point. This chapter isn't some timeless, abstract essay. Nope. It is a direct, sharp, and pointed challenge to Mecca, revealed during a really tough time for the early Muslim community.
Now, you'll hear scholars call this a Meccan surah, and that little detail is absolutely crucial. See, the later chapters from Medina, they often deal with laws and social structure for a community that's already established. But the Meccan chapters, they're all about building the foundation. They had to establish the most basic, core beliefs, like the nature of God, precisely because they were speaking into an environment of disbelief and resistance.
And this is a pretty hefty chapter. We're talking 165 verses, and the tradition holds that it was all revealed at once as one complete piece during this Middle Meccan period. That gives it this incredible focus, this powerful, sustained argument that just builds and builds from start to finish.
So, what exactly is this argument? Well, you can think of the entire chapter as one comprehensive case for pure monotheism. It's designed to methodically and logically dismantle the polytheistic worldview that was just everywhere in Mecca at the time. And when you look at the core themes here, you can see how all the different pieces lock together. It all revolves around this one central idea, Tawheed, which is the absolute oneness of God. So the chapter points to signs in nature. It talks about the role of prophets, the reality of the afterlife. Everything is there to support this one foundational truth.
Now, this is what I find so interesting. Just look at how stark this contrast is. On one side, you've got the whole Meccan system, physical idols, a belief in all these intermediaries to get to the main gods. And on the other side, Al-Anam presents this radical, completely different idea. One single all-knowing creator, no partners, no kids, and a direct line of communication. No go-betweens needed.
To make this argument feel a little less abstract, the chapter does something brilliant. It doesn't just lecture you. It tells a story. It uses the prophet Abraham, as this perfect case study in how you can use pure logic and just observation to arrive at the truth of one God.
The story kicks off with Ibrahim just looking at the world around him. He sees a star, it's bright, it's brilliant, and he thinks, okay, maybe this is my Lord. But then it sets, it just disappears. And his logic is so simple and powerful. A true God can't be temporary. It can't be something that just goes away. So he keeps looking. Next up, the moon. It's bigger, it's brighter, more impressive. And he considers it. But just like the star, it also sets. And this is a huge turning point because he realizes something profound. Just looking isn't enough. He recognizes that he needs guidance from whatever the real higher power is to find the truth.
And here's the final brilliant step in his logic. He sees the sun, the greatest, most powerful thing he can see in the sky. But when even the sun sets, that's it. He's done. He rejects all created things and concludes that true worship can only be for the one unseen being who created the star, the moon, the sun, and, well, everything else.
But here's the thing. This chapter and its powerful argument, they don't just exist in a vacuum. It's actually a very deliberately placed piece within the Quran's much larger, coherent structure. Think of it like a blueprint.
This concept is known as nazm, or coherence. The idea is that the Quran isn't just a random collection of revelations, it's organized. Scholars have noted that it's laid out in 7 major groups or divisions, and each of these groups has its own central theme, creating this incredible, unified whole.
So this table basically lays out that blueprint for us. And if you look closely, you can see Surah Al-Anam is chapter 6. That puts it right at the very beginning of the second group. And check out that group's central theme, the consequences of denying Muhammad for the polytheists of Mecca.
That tells you exactly who this was for and what its job was.
Right, so once you understand this structure, you can see the very specific job this chapter was designed to do. It's not just talking about monotheism in general, it's arguing for monotheism as a direct challenge to the people who are hearing it for the very first time.
This means that every single argument, every story like Ibrahim's, and every verse in Al-An'am is laser-focused. It's all tailored to address the specific doubts, the cultural beliefs, and the entire worldview of those 7th century Meccan idolaters. It's a very targeted message.
And you can really see how unique this is when you put it side by side with the chapters that come right before it. Group 1, as you can see, is all about Islamic law, rules for a community that's already on board. But then you hit Group 2, starting with Al-An'am, and it's a complete shift in gears. It's not about law, it's about pure theological debate, aimed squarely at an audience that was still rejecting the core message.
And that leaves us with this really fascinating final question to think about. When a text is so precisely and perfectly engineered for its original time and place, what does it mean for all of us, for a global audience centuries later? It makes you think about how sometimes the most universal truths are found in the most specific stories. Thanks for joining me.